In January 2019, Suncoast High School in Riviera Beach, Florida, undertook its second virtual honor flight project. This year's effort marked the first time a virtual honor flight was held in one of the nation's Veteran Administration hospitals. The event was intended to honor the dozens of permanent residents who served our country long ago, but could not physically or medically make a regular flight to Washington. Ahead of the event, Suncoast students raised all of the funds necessary to pay for all the costs, prepared decorations, and trained for positions like student guardians assigned to help each veteran and be their friend during the event. In addition, 2 other schools were recruited to take part for the very first time: the Benjamin School in West Palm Beach and Southwark High School in Stuart, Florida. On the morning of Saturday, January 26th, approximately 60 high school students and another 20 adult volunteers arrived to set up the decorations throughout the hospital over several hours. Supportive, patriotic signs and hundreds of balloons were needed to make it look right. After feeding our army of volunteers, it was time to gather the army of residents who were excitedly waiting for this unusual event. Each veteran was paired with a student to assist them, and given the same hats and shirts used on regular flights, along with a small goodie bag. The Southwark High School band played background music while all assembled. As veterans entered with a student guardian, they received a hero's welcome, much like what happens when flights deplane in Washington. The smiles, waves, and tears of the dozens of veterans showed us they appreciated their chance to share the honor flight experience. One thing that amazed the adults and hospital staff was how students totally engaged these former strangers, sharing their time and hearts to honor men and women who rarely experience visitors. Some staffers were amazed to see normally standoffish residents taking part in their first group activity since entering the facility. The 2 major pieces of the virtual honor flight were 2 videos. On a regular flight, people from around the country are in Washington and they take the time to thank our veterans for serving. Since our group couldn't travel, I had friends around the world send video messages of thanks instead, from places most people would recognize behind them.
Hi, I'm inside the Kremlin in Moscow, and I just wanted to take a chance to say thank you to all of our veterans for all of your service.
Thank you, veterans from Breckenridge, Colorado.
From Las Vegas, Nevada. I want to say thank you to all the vets out there for all your dedication and service to this country.
As we stand in front of Lady Liberty,
I'd like to thank our...
I'd like to give a big thank you to all of our armed forces.
Hi, I'm Glenn Oglesby from Camp Powhatan in the Blue Ridge Scout Reservation over in Hiawassee, Virginia, and I would like to, along with all of my staff and scouts, like to thank veterans here, there, and everywhere. I'd like to throw out a special thanks to...
I'm Ingram. I'm from Wesley Chapel, Florida, and I'm here in D.C. at the...
After 5 to 6 minutes of thank yous from places far and wide, it was time for the main event. 2 students from our school flew on a standard flight and edited a day's events into 26 emotional minutes, showing the VA residents their memorials and an honor flight experience similar to the real thing. For many who had never seen the memorials dedicated to their service, it was a welcome and emotional opportunity. People
gravestones are the most impressive. To see them lined up the way they are just reminds you of what a lot of young men did for this country.
It was worth it to anyone who fought in the war.
was very surprised that it was outstanding. Well, I had never seen it. To have this, it's rather overwhelming.
My experience today has been the most humbling thing I've ever had happen to me.
When did you realize you were doing that? I told you, troublemaker. Good. She got.
The virtual honor flight's conclusion was a huge success. The VA asked us to leave up most of the decorations, the staff was in awe, and the veterans so thankful to be remembered. We were told later that hours later, the staff had a hard time getting residents to go to sleep that night because the veterans were up uncharacteristically talking and visiting each other, reliving the event. Some students even remained in contact with the veterans we met. And of course, we started planning for next year, seeking to top this latest experience.